first step, process your real feelings. If you're really disappointed, if you're really sad and who you have lost on the way, go ahead and take a minute to process your feelings without blaming yourself for what happened. Hello, welcome to my YouTube channel. I'm Tia Ramey, and I love giving communication tips and strategies to leaders to help them both personally and professionally. In my mini series about communicating with yourself, I believe it's so important that you know how to have honest, integral, healthy dialogue with yourself. And once you know how to talk to yourself and encourage yourself, learning how to talk to others is a piece of cake. I've been doing this mini series really inspired by requests from people to help them out. And today's request was what to do and what to say to yourself when you cannot save everyone. And of course, I deal with leaders. Remember, a lot of my tips and strategies you can get in my book, Canceled: Mastering Difficult Conversations in a Modern World. You can get that on my website, available at tiaramy.com. You can also get it on Audible and Amazon. So I hope that you will check it out. But it's so important to me that we have this particular conversation because there's one thing I know about leaders is that they are what we call addictive problem solvers. And it can be addiction to help people. And my job is to help you get on track with doing this because you are free to do it and not because you're addicted to doing it. So how do we do this? How do we fully process it when you're a bit disappointed in the people that you have tried to help that you couldn't? And let me say something about leaders. They are some of the most criticized people in the world, in my opinion, at least. I'll just say that. Everyone has an opinion about what they think you should be doing and how they think you should have done it. And you're a leader because you have done something great for yourself. You have a solution that you are now sharing with the rest of the world. Oftentimes in my world, when I'm dealing with leaders in outreach initiatives, they are dealing with some hard problems, difficult problems, addiction, homelessness. And here's the thing that's a little bit devastating about leaders is though they have wonderful victory stories, they also can have some terrible tragedies in those sad stories that really hurt them and impacted their lives in a negative way because there was someone they just wish they could have touched and they didn't. And so one thing I want you to give yourself room to do is fully process your feelings, grieve that life, and learn how to totally grieve that life without adding any blame on yourself for what happened. That is an individual life and it's worth grieving. Your job is to be a leader, not a savior. If a person needs a savior, there is a faith for that. They can subscribe to a savior that will help them out. That is a faith thing. But you are a human being, and I want you to just tell yourself, I need a minute to grieve the sadness of losing this life or losing this person to whatever it is. Maybe they have died. Maybe they have reverted back to some old ways. Maybe they are locked up now. I'm not sure. Whatever the case may be, that you are finding yourself in a position where you wish you could have saved a person, but you couldn't. You've got to let yourself off of that hook because it is not your job. I want to talk about what you need to remind yourself about, like what is leadership. Remind yourself of the truth of what that is. Your job is to inspire. Your job is to influence. Your job is to provide wonderful ways for people to change their life through the demonstration and the model of your personal disciplines, right? And they decide whether or not they want to follow you because they love the sacrifices that you made for you to get where you are. They can see that and they have decided to do the same. That's your job as a leader. Your first obligation is to learn how to be truly great at what you do, right? And you need to remind yourself of that so much, okay? After you have processed your feelings, get back into full alignment with what a leadership is. Inspire, influence, right? And really allow yourself to see what that is, not save. If we can help people on the way, and sometimes people are in a position where they want to change, but they don't know how yet, but they are ready. They are truly ready to make the choices that they have to make. And so those are the people that we may step aside and go out of our way a little bit to help out and support. But some of those people who think they're ready to change, or maybe you can see better for them than what they saw for themselves, that's where a lot of leaders get in trouble. It isn't your job to have a vision for someone else's life. They have to have a vision for their life, and your job is to support them along that way and along that journey. And oftentimes, people may think that you're not providing them with enough support. They want more out of you than what you truly have the capacity to give. And at times, if you allow yourself to be led by their criticism and you allow yourself to be led by what other people are saying they need from you and not the solution that you know how to create, then you can end up becoming a bad leader for the sake of the criticism of others. And you've got to get out of that space. You have got to recommit yourself to your mission. You have a solution. You have modeled the solution. You have demonstrated the solution, and you are living it. It has nothing to do with how anyone feels about you. It has everything to do with every action that you have taken and every person that is looking up to you to do the right thing. That's what leadership is about. You're the most disciplined person in the room in a particular subject matter. Fine. Get away from the criticism. And I need you to go into your memory bank and think about those people who are rooting for you. Think about those people who always see the best in you. Think about the people who know how to encourage you, and I need you to get around those people, because everyone has an idea of what they thought you should do better, right? Everyone does, and it's so easy to have an opinion, but you're going to have to just push all the opinions out of your head. Get focused again on what it is you're truly great at, right? And say, who's with me is who is with me. And it's okay if half the people that used to be with you are not. It's okay, because you evolve as a leader, and it's okay to allow yourself to evolve. And you can do a lot with a little bit sometimes. Now, the good thing about leaders, great leaders, is that they can listen to others. So I'm not saying shut everyone out. I am saying if you have a solution that works and you have lost some people because they weren't willing to follow your solution, they thought they had a solution for how they think you should show up in their life and you couldn't do that, I am saying let that go. And if part of your journey is you need to forgive yourself, I created a video for that. Go back and watch that forgiveness video so that you can learn how to walk through forgiveness. If you truly did make a mistake on that journey, forgive yourself, and you've got to move forward, because you are a leader whether you are leading people in the right direction or the wrong direction. And I need you to get back focused again on what the right direction is. Get back to the mission. Get back to knowing what are the makings of a great leader. And your ability to focus, and I like to call it chewing up the meat and spitting out the bones, is what makes you a good leader. It's good to listen, but there's a point where you have to cut it off. And there is a point where you have to get focused again and encourage yourself again and encourage your heart again. Okay, so I hope that this video was so helpful to you, but let's go back through the steps. Your first step, process your real feelings. If you're really disappointed, if you're really sad and who you have lost on the way, go ahead and take a minute to process your feelings without blaming yourself for what happened. Then I want you to remind yourself about the truth of leadership. Your job was to influence and inspire through the discipline and the solutions that you have created. If they didn't follow you, that's on them. Then remember, your job is to be a leader, not a savior. You are not here to save people. You're not here to save the world. It is people's job to save themselves, and they save themselves by finding good leaders who have solutions for their problem. And it's their job to discipline themselves to pattern after your solution and not the other way around. Remember, the makings of a good leader is learning how to first encourage your heart. So I want you to get encouraged. Surround yourself by people who can encourage you. Listen, glean from what may have gone wrong. Learn, because leaders always learn from mistakes. And recommit yourself to the mission of doing what is right with all that you have learned moving forward. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope that you will like, share, and subscribe. And again, visit my website at tiaramey.com if you're looking for more communication tips and strategies. But first, let's make sure that we know how to communicate with ourselves in a happy, helpful way that helps us to be better people in the end. Have a great one.